President Tinubu resumes official engagements in Abuja after latest diplomatic shuttle.
We have recaptured a lot of people. We are putting in everything to make sure that our correctional centers are safe.
Nigeria Correctional Service recaptures more escapees from the Suleja Custodial Center.
But Nigerian here matter is, there are 2 counts on it. That's why we amended it.
Court grants former Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika, daughter and in-law bail in ongoing 2.7 billion naira corruption trial. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Reading with me tonight from Lagos is Hingino John Adams, while Benny Adams is here in our Abuja studio with the business news. And as usual on Thursday nights, we will also be ticking the boxes with targets from key areas of national interest with our correspondents on standby. Remember, you can watch this news podcast live on our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Now let's get the news. President Bola Tinubu has today continued with his official engagements after his return from the Netherlands and Saudi Arabia. The president, who engaged some of his ministers, also received some state governors at the State House earlier today. The governors include Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, Caleb Mutwang of Plateau State, and Uba Sani of Kaduna State. State House correspondent Musbaud and Wahab reports that details of the successive meetings were not disclosed to journalists. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetakun, was also at the State House, apparently to brief the President on internal security issues. And some cheering news from the Nigeria Correctional Service say more escapees from the Suleja Custodial Center are back where they belong, in custody. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, who gave the hint while inspecting renovation work at the Kuje Custodial Center, also inspected facilities at the National Fire Academy in Sheda, Kwali. Victor Azu reports.
Once beaten, twice shy. That's the proverb. But the Nigerian Correctional Service has been beaten a few more times. Only recently, jailbreak at the Suleja Custodial Center let loose more than 100 inmates. The Minister of Interior says additional escapees have been rearrested, but more importantly, work is ongoing to fortify some custodial centers, beginning with this one in Kuje, also violated in 2022.
We have recaptured a lot of people. We are putting in everything to make sure that our correctional centers are safe, our correctional centers are foolproof to attack, and our correctional centers are national assets that must be protected, and also to look at the well-being and welfare of our inmates.
Down here, the minister heads for the National Fire Academy in Sheda to see the state of facilities. His satisfaction is palpable. His statement confirms it.
We're erecting modern fire academy that can be compared, to the best you can get anywhere in the world.
While these ones are being completed, Tunji Ojo says groundbreaking of several more projects will be performed by Mr. President on May 28th. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Maitama has granted bail to the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, and 3 others. The trial judge, Justice Silvanus Origi, admitted the 4 defendants to bail in the sum of 100 million naira each and 2 sureties in like sum. Judiciary correspondent Miriam Emeka Amadi reports.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned on a 6-count charge the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, his daughter Fatima Sulehama, and Al Burak Global Investment Limited, a company where Hadi Sirika allegedly has invested interest in. The defendants are standing trial on alleged financial crimes to the tune of 2.8 billion naira. The FCC alleged Hadi Sirika used his position as the minister to confer undue advantage on his daughter and son-in-law by allegedly giving them contracts. Hadi Sirika pleaded not guilty and denied the alleged corrupt practices involving 2.8 billion naira. Similarly, his daughter and son-in-law pleaded not guilty to the 6-count charge. After the arraignment, the defense counsel Mahmoud Magaji SAN, who stood in for Fatima, and Sanusi Musa SAN, counsel to Jalal Suleiman, moved the application for their bail, pleading for mercy, not to be given conditions they cannot afford. The counsel to the former minister, Kano Agabi SAN, asked the court to be liberal in granting him bail. Although the bail request applications were opposed by the prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacobs SAN, justice already granted the 3 defendants bail in the sum of 100 million naira and 2 sureties each in like sum.
There are other issues that were introduced, like the Nigerian Airways, the Ethiopia something, which we added to it. So it was not there originally, but Nigerian Air matter is there are 2 counts on it. That's why we amended it.
The sureties must be responsible citizens with verifiable home addresses, while one of them must have landed property with a certificate of occupancy signed by the FCT minister. If the defendants are unable to perfect their bail conditions, justice already ordered that they should be remanded in prison custody until the time they perfect their bail conditions. The matter has been adjourned to 10th June 2024 for commencement of trial. Miriam Emekamadi, NTA News.
Talking legislative matters now, the Senate has passed the bill to amend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act with provisions for stiffer penalties on drug offenders. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Section 11 of the Act, as amended, prescribes death sentence on any person found guilty of illegal importation, production, manufacture, processing, planting, or growing of drugs.
The report on the bill, as presented by the Joint Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters and the Committee on NDLEA, had retained life imprisonment as contained in the current Act and as forwarded from the House for concurrence.
Cooperation with law enforcement or lack of prior criminal record may lessen the severity of punishment.
Senate, however, sought stiffer penalties to serve as deterrents.
Instead of imprisonment for life, it should be to be sentenced to death, to make it a capital offense.
By these amendments, the bill will be forwarded to a conference committee of the Senate and House for harmonization. Senate passed second reading a bill to prescribe salaries and other entitlements of judicial office holders as transmitted by the executive.
The bill intends to unify the salary structure for judicial office holders, both in federal and state level.
We cry in silence, not coming out to agitate, that there should be a review of their remuneration, and now the president has done so.
We should also look at other sectors of the economy. People's salary, because of cost of things in the market today, is so high.
There is no gainsaying that 15 years without review, and that this is definitely a bold step and a step in the right direction.
Also passed as second reading is the bill seeking the establishment of the Federal Orthopedic Hospital Toro in Bauchi State, sponsored by Senator Abuba Umar.
Accidents are recorded in Bauchi State in particular and the northeastern state in general, whereas lives are lost and deformities encountered due to the unavailability of specialized orthopedic hospitals in the state and the region or zone.
There's no option because not many people can afford even the transport cost, say from Jalingo or from Yola or from, say, Goza to Kano.
The motion from Senator Osita Izunaso calling for full implementation of the Disability Act was also supported.
Despite the enactment of the Act in 2018, there remains a gap in the implementation and enforcement of these provisions, leading to continuous marginalization, exclusion, and violations of the rights of persons with disability across Nigeria.
Senators observed a minute silence, commiserating with the people of Kwara State over the death of late Senator Rafiu Adebayo, who served in the 8th Senate. A Senate delegation would visit Kwara State for condolence. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And at the House of Representatives, members have asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the planned implementation of cyber security levy on electronic money transactions. Adopting a motion by Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda, the House notes that the proposed 0.5% levy on electronic transactions is open to multiple interpretations as an additional tax burden on citizens. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikben reports on these and other resolutions at the House.
And 359.
The public outcry against the central bank's proposed 0.5% levy on electronic transactions gains traction among lawmakers. Citing ambiguity in the CBN circular announcing the levy, Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda described the policy as ill-timed.
Unless immediate pragmatic steps are taken to halt the proposed action of the CBN, the Cyber Crimes Act shall be implemented in error at a time when Nigerians are experiencing the aftermath of multiple removal of subsidies.
This motion is referred to the Committee on Banking Regulation and Banking Institution and ancillary institutions for further legislative action.
The House also drew the attention of the federal government to possible breach of industrial harmony in tertiary institutions if withheld salaries and allowances of ASU and NASU staff are not paid.
I urge the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to use his good office and direct the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget Office of the Federation, Accountant General of the Federation, and such MDS to ensure full implementation and prompt payment of all monies due to the unions.
The plight of Nigerians in accessing consular services led the House to call for a comprehensive probe of the activities of foreign missions.
The country has properties and assets across the world, many underutilized and several others abandoned, which if properly audited will enhance efficiency of our foreign services.
To boost the national power grid, the Green Chamber sought activation of the Bahrain power plant in Bayelsa State.
To urge the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the chairman of the board of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, to summon emergency meeting of the board for urgent resuscitation of the Bahrain power plant in order to increase national grid.
A minute silence.
Lawmakers observed a minute's silence for 46 citizens brutally murdered by bandits in Isa Sabon Birni Federal Constituency in Sokoto State. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
And now we moved on to our own deliberations on government's performance and efforts in key national sectors covering the period since the current administration assumed leadership at the center. It is time for ticking the boxes. And we're being joined tonight by Ruth Agwele and Michael Olale. Incidentally, Michael is joining us via Zoom from Lagos and would be appraising developments within the blue economy sector in a build-up to the one-year anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's administration. We'll begin with you, Michael. Let's see what options you are leaning towards with each ticking that you'll be doing there, of the identified items that you'll be ticking.
Yes, I will be starting with the area with port, the development of the ports. And so, talking about that, I would take the fact that it is on course. This is because government is showing interest in developing the ports, and there are already requests on board. There are requests from a bank and also a terminal operator to invest about $600 to $700 million for the development of the port, and this will take the form of infrastructural upgrade and automation of process. And the purpose why government is embarking on this is to ensure that we attract bigger vessels to our port. And when we have bigger vessels at our ports, then the activities at the port will be will be more busier, bringing in more money and developing the economy. You know, more than 70% of cargoes that are destined for West Africa, about 70% of them are actually coming to Nigeria. It doesn't make sense when such cargoes are being diverted to other parts of the country. So government is embarking on port development to ensure that those cargoes that are usually taken to other countries within the zone come to Nigeria, and in essence will develop the economy, which in turn will lead to wealth creation and jobs as stipulated in the Blue Economic Project of the government. So in so doing, I will give that the project is on course. Government is doing well. And then I will take you to the second one. Talking about the second one has to do with shipping development. Government is using an instrument that believes will help to stimulate indigenous businesses, indigenous activities in the shipping business. And that instrument is called the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. The purpose is to stimulate local participation so as to have more Nigerian flag, more vessels flying the Nigerian flag. Now, it is a $365 million investment, but as at now, it has not been disbursed. So I would say still need alignment. And the reason why I would say it needs alignment is because there are still debates on the percentage of the loan, and it has been dragging for long. So I believe if stakeholders can come together and realign their focus on the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, then we'll be getting somewhere. Now, lastly, I will talk about the last one has to do with the blue economy. What are new areas, new frontiers? There are a lot. The minister talks about investing in fishery, in which we have many shrimps in our waters, in which we can actually export to other parts of the country. And there are other sectors like coastal tourism, inland water transportation. Nigeria is linked by 26 states. I mean, water happened to link 26 states in Nigeria together. You can access 26 states in Nigeria by water. So in so doing, there is need for investment in that area, taking advantage of the inland waterways. So for that, I would think that is actually on course, that government is doing something about it, because the minister actually talked about opening up the fishing business, investing in fishery. Then we have the offshore wind farms. You know, when government as soon as government put forward a framework for this blue marine economy, then we'll start seeing many opportunities coming up and people coming on board to invest in such area. Let me give you a good example. A good example has to do with the Lekki Deep-Sea Ports. Now, the Lekki Deep-Sea Port coming on board has helped to attract bigger vessels to the country. That particular port pride themselves as as a hub for transshipment. So if government with its framework policy well structured, put on the front burner for these new areas, these new frontiers like fishery, coastal tourism, then a lot of people will come in and invest. And for that, I'll actually take that.
Michael, you know, the blue economy is an indication that it will bring a lot of boost to the economic policy of the Tinubu administration. And of course, Ruth is still here with us. Can you take us through the targets you have there, and why are you deciding on what option to take, Ruth?
Thank you very much, Jummai. Of course, when we're talking social protection, we're looking at a broader system of social protection systems in society designed as interventions, you know, to mitigate those economic realities, you know, that affects the poor and vulnerable directly. Now, as part of commitment, you know, by the federal government, we've seen that over time. In 2016, the National Social Safety Net was established, and then, of course, you know, follow up, the National Social Investment Programs came on board, and we've seen that intervention being sustained over time. Even with the coming of this present administration, we saw safety net programs under the NSIP, which started before it was halted or rather suspended due to anomalies, in the system. And now we're talking it needs a rigorous re-evaluation and restructuring. So I'll say for safety net programs, we're looking at it needs realignment because we want a transparent process. Nigerians want accountability in that aspect. And then for social protection, now, despite the suspension of the NSIP, there was also, government's effort to mitigate the current economic realities. Now, I'm talking about, we saw the 42,000 metric tons release of grains by the federal government. We're seeing state governments on their own part understanding that they have to be proactive from their ends. We're seeing interventions, and then we saw the 50,000 nano grant, to nano business holders, to improve productivity. We also saw 35,000 naira wage award by the federal government for civil servants. Now, these are aspects, that we could say is an aspect of social protection for the citizens. In as much as we're not seeing a long-term process that we want to see, what experts are actually calling for, these are short-term measures to just mitigate the readily available impact. So I'll say this is on course, talking about social protection. Now, for inclusivity, there is this reawakening, this renewed consciousness, of leaving no one behind. In the past, we didn't have the persons with disabilities included in the government intervention programs, but we see that has changed over time. And just before the suspension of the national social investment programs because of the whole anomalies, we were seeing efforts, to include ex-servicemen and, of course, pensioners to be included in the National Social Register. Data, Jummai, plays a very critical role, and that National Social Register is very critical if you have to meet the needs of the people. I would say inclusivity, of course, there's that reawakening, inclusion. So I would say it's on course. Jummai, I know Nigerians just want to see that poverty is reduced drastically, and of course people have a life of dignity.
Indeed, that is what the president is always saying. No Nigerian will be left behind. Michael, Ruth, thank you.
Nice.
We'll take a break. You're welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Engineer Chukwuemeka Woki as the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development Authority. Engineer Woki is a seasoned engineer and politician who served as chairman of Emohua local government area of Rivers State and was Chief of Staff, Government House, Port Harcourt for many years. The president expects the new appointee to discharge his duties with integrity and in conformity with the highest standards of transparency while working at harnessing and developing the water resources potential of the area. Now, we hear that recent efforts by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, to empower more women and youth in the country have continued to attract international attention, with more requests for collaboration in tow. This time around, the call for partnership is coming from the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, who, among other things, is proposing the establishment of computer-based classrooms to rehabilitate and empower young female victims of human trafficking in the country. State House correspondent Adeni Itaiwo reports.
Leading a four-man delegation to the office of the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, says ongoing efforts by APEC Project Renewed Hope Initiative have helped to highlight the huge potential of Nigerian women and youths. Their proposed collaboration, which cuts across 4 key areas, such as establishment of innovation centers across the country, as well as mentorship programs in business, science and technology, is targeted at developing these potentials.
And 50% of those are women. And the aim of the program is to help develop them and to show young Nigerians that their future is in Nigeria and not somewhere else, and they can develop their company. And we work with them with Israeli mentors, with Nigerian mentors, and we work on this program. We are looking to expand the program for the next cohort and double the numbers.
It also focuses on art development, textile promotion, and agriculture, with Nigerian women and youths who are farmers expected to leverage Israel's renowned expertise in agriculture to expand their businesses.
That would work with you and your office for opening computer classrooms. You know, we can choose random places, but we'd like them to be targeted, and we would want to work with your office to say, okay, let's do one here, let's do one there.
Their collaboration targets Nigerian women, and that fact is gladdening enough for the First Lady, who expressed readiness to work with the embassy.
The support we have from, foreign friends, I will put it in that context, has quite been encouraging, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't have, faith in this administration. And I want to really appreciate that. We're going to work with you in all these areas.
On the situation in Gaza, the First Lady prayed for peace. She also granted audience to the Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Hidayet Pakakta, who was in her office to explore areas of cooperation with promotion of Nigerian culture at the center of their conversation. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwu, NTA News.
The member representing Boni constituency in the Rivers State House of Assembly, Victor Oko-Jumbo, has emerged the new Speaker of the State's 10th Assembly. Nkiru Onyejeshi reports that he was elected by a section of Assembly members during plenary, in line with the standing order of the House.
The Rivers State House of Assembly has been plagued with tussles arising from the political crisis in the state. The crisis, which heightened in November 2023, has led to the emergence of three factional speakers, though the second, Edison Ehie, resigned his membership of the House and was appointed Chief of Staff to the Rivers State Governor, Similalaye Fubara. This latest development, which produced Victor Oko-Jumbo, is the outcome of preliminary held by a section of members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. In his acceptance speech, the factional speaker thanked the members for electing him as a new speaker, sequel to the resignation of the former speaker, Right Honorable Edison Ehie. He also called on the executive arm, the judiciary, and the general public to disregard every law reportedly enacted by the Amehule-led assembly, pledging to work with the River State governor for the overall good of indigents of the state.
I have one constitutional responsibility, and it is to work for the growth and development of Rivers people and our dear state.
Meanwhile, the new speaker was led to the preliminary with the original maize of the River State House of Assembly by the Sergeant-at-Arms David Wariboku, who managed the last sitting of the Amehule-led assembly in the same position. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejeshi, NTA News.
All is now set for the visit of Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, to Nigeria tomorrow, Friday, May 10th, 2024. The Director Sports Defense Air Vice Marshal Abidemi Timothy Marquez announced this at a news conference in Abuja. The visit of Prince Harry, the founder of the Invictus Games, to Nigeria is expected to facilitate the development of a state-of-the-art center for the management of wounded soldiers and enhance the chances of Nigeria hosting the Games.
Of the wounded and injured soldier, particularly the post-traumatic stress syndrome, that are manifesting due to our engagement in the counter-insurgency operation.
Invictus Games is a sporting event that promotes physical and mental recovery for wounded soldiers across the world.
Recently, his amiable wife did DNA genealogy test, and it was confirmed that she is 43% Nigerian. She's also looking forward to come to Nigeria as part of our ancestry and our lineage.
On the schedule of the private visit of Prince Harry and his wife Meghan includes sporting events, visit to 44 Military Reference Hospital Kaduna to interact with wounded soldiers, and a similar visit to Lagos. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And to recognize the sacrifices and contributions of some individuals during the 2023 general election, a non-governmental organization, the Nigerian American Coalition for Justice and Democracy, is set to honor such individuals. A member of the coalition, Yunusa Tanko, stated this at a press briefing in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi. tells us more.
Memories of the 2023 general election gradually fading out, but the acts and voices of the heroes still loud and fresh.
Uncommon heroes who are courageous.
A group, Nigerian American Coalition for Justice and Democracy, felt the contributions of some individuals will not go unnoticed. So, an award program expected to hold June 1st, 2024 in Abuja, christened 2024 Courageous Citizens Award.
The selection criteria for the 2024 CCA include courage and integrity for democracy and speaking out against any form of electoral malpractice or injustice. We invite nomination from public across all sectors. This is not limited. This is very important here. All the political parties, all the 16 political parties, individuals who are interested in having credible election. Our uncontested role models such as Professor Nena Oti, Victoria Chidex, who lost her life in Kaduna, Jennifer FAD, Pa Ayo Adebajo, and countless others. It is at this point I also want to fully recognize the flag boy.
Yes, James Osita, the flag boy, is still in pains on the spillovers of the 2023 general election.
So a friend was making fun of me, saying that I went to stress myself during the 2023 general election. At the end of the day, I had nothing to show for. So we're exchanging words. So along the line, he poured a chemical to my eyes from behind. Since then, I've been battling with it.
I want to encourage women that we are ready to do more. We are ready to do more. And when there's no woman, there's no nation. So we are very strong.
They believe the courage that saw them through in 2023 will again be demonstrated in 2027. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
We'll take a pause now as we join Hingino John Adams in Lagos for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Jummai. Addressing the disconnect between leaders and the led can be achieved when the voice of the ordinary Nigerian is amplified and taken into cognizance in policy formulation. This and the need for all Nigerians to make meaningful impact in the development of the nation was the crux of discussion at a public presentation of the book Leading from the Streets, authored by Magnus Onyebe, a former NTA staff, public policy analyst and chairman Inspire Media Service Limited. Joel Pupola reports that former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, chaired the presentation.
It's a compilation of 77 articles out of the over 1,000 articles written by the author, Magnus Onyebe. It gives an insight into major issues that shape Nigeria's socio-political and economic landscape. The 541-page book also seeks to awaken the leadership prowess of Nigerians who, according to the author, are all leaders in their own spheres of influence.
I am proposing that we pull our ranks together, we pull our resources together, we pull our brains together, we pull our intellect together and see how we can be able to move the country forward.
Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon and the book reviewer Professor Ehosa Osagae, Director General Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, and other speakers described the 7-chapter book as a robust intellectual contribution that can fast-track the nation's building process.
What sets this book apart from others is Magnus Onyebe's passionate commitment to inclusivity.
It's a book that contains so much that has to do with our past, economically, politically, and affecting our future.
At a panel discussion on the theme, Tinubunomics, what is working, what is not working, why, and the way forward, the panelists say while more is expected from the government, there is need for Nigerians to exercise patience. Distinguished personalities received awards of recognition for their contributions to national development. Leading from the street is speaking to the consciousness of Nigerians that nation building is not just about the leaders alone, but for the generality of Nigerians to contribute significantly by selfless sacrifice. In Lagos, Joel Pupola, NTA News.
Nigeria's telecommunication giant MTN is celebrating 2 years of its subsidiary company existing as an electronic transaction platform called Mobile Money, also known as Momo, at the popular Mile 12 foodstuff market in Lagos to introduce traders to the payment service platform. Lanre Bileyi tells us more.
MTN Mobile Money, or Momo, marks its second year of providing easy electronic payment system to its customers by showing renewed commitment. The company embarked on a campaign trained to Mile 12 International Foodstuff Market, intimating market women of its service and all the bouquet of goodies in store for them to enjoy immediately they open a Momo account on their mobile phone. Officers of Momo communicated in local language on the gains and even demonstrated how it's done.
Momo is in to support what our market women do, to provide simple solutions for them to do their trading. And because we have, connected our platform to all financial solution providers, if you open an account on us, you can interact with anybody.
Financial inclusion doesn't just mean, it's not a cliche word. For us, it's real. And real for the average man and average woman on the markets. What we intend to do is give them opportunities to open accounts where ordinarily they couldn't have had such accounts.
MTN has the widest reach across the country. So for a market woman who is very busy, banks have few branches. With MTN, there are so many branches. Anybody who has a retail, who is connected with MTN in any way, provides mobile money support.
We are happy for what you have brought to the market, and we are going to support and inform others. Even those that are bringing farm products to the market, we hear about Momo.
Dialing 671 to start the mobile money platform has other benefits, which includes transferring money electronically to other African countries such as South Africa, Zambia, and Rwanda. In Lagos, Lanre Bileyi, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Network News will continue after this break.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you up to speed with other news as authorities of Bayes University, Abuja, have taken a step further in their bid to enhancing the status of the university medical school. To this end, it has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Federal Medical Center, Jabi, Abuja, for clinical training of its medical students. Kelvin Ohone reports.
Bayes University already has a teaching hospital, primarily designed for its medical school. But leveraging the experience of professionals at the FMC Abuja will be like an icing on the cake. The MOU, a product of several months of negotiation between both parties, will also afford the university to fully utilize its quota for students' intake and provide them with the opportunities to learn from the call of experts at the FMC Jabi, a public tertiary hospital.
We have labs that can take to as of today, fully equipped. Spent a lot of money on infrastructure, state-of-the-art infrastructure. They're going to use our professors of medicine. They use our professors of medicine, use our state-of-the-art hospital, automated systems, and also while our students go to clinicals, seeing real-life students, patients and all of them. That's what the symbiosis is all about.
And with the support of the ministry, we'll continue to do and give our best so that Nigerian patients can be better off.
For the federal government, the arrangement is a unique one, molded in PPP format, and one that will be replicated for the new Federal Universities of Health Sciences across the country. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alisa, emphasized government desire to expand the capacity of training institutions to enable them produce more doctors and other health professionals to meet the need of the nation's growing population, describing the initiative with Bayes University as novel.
It's a long journey. The medical director came initially to discuss with me earlier several months ago, and I gave him the go-ahead that this is part of our strategy to increase production of healthcare workers in the country.
Bayes University, Abuja, with this arrangement, is expected to also use the platform to include pharmacy and other health sciences, using FMC Jabi facilities and manpower as complementary to the ones at its teaching hospital. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewunwaye, NTA News.
And in Kano, the Al-Basar International Foundation West Africa has inaugurated its first clinic for corneal transplant surgical services in the sub-region at the Mecca Specialist Eye Hospital. Awal Salisu reports that the inauguration is one of the activities lined up to celebrate the foundation's 30 years of excellent services to humanity in poor vision.
The Al-Basar International Foundation is a non-governmental voluntary organization working for the prevention of poor vision with particular emphasis on Africa and Asia. With the inauguration of its cornea clinic in Kano, the clinic will offer services like corneal transplant and amniotic membrane transplant, among others. Secretary General of the Foundation, Dr. Adil Al-Rashid, noted that the first 5 patients for the corneal surgeries will be operated free of charge. The foundation has concurrently flagged off free eye cataract surgeries and free school screening programs in Kano and Bauchi states.
Problem of vision due to the corneal disease or corneal trauma is high. And the only way to solve this problem is to do this procedure, which is corneal transplant or corneal graft.
We never had a history of corneal transplant until now. So this hospital has made a mark now. It's a milestone. And they have the connection getting cornea tissue from Sri Lanka for the benefit of our people.
This hospital, Makkah Eye Hospital, has been taking care of a lot of patients from all over the northern part of the country. And we are here today with them to commission another department, which is another program called Cornea Program.
It is believed that introducing the services in Nigeria will support government and other stakeholders in making eye health more accessible and affordable, thereby curbing the problem of medical tourism with its attendant consequences on the economy. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has inaugurated the Funtua Inland Dry Port in a significant move to ramp up trade volume and stimulate economic growth. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, performed the inauguration ceremony on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Awal Haliru brings us details.
The Funtua Inland Dry Port is a significant milestone for Nigeria's economy. Located in Funtua Town, Katsina State, the facility is strategically positioned to serve as a hub for trade and commerce, not only in the northwest, but the country as a whole. With its inauguration, President Bola Tinubu, through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, says the Funtua Dry Port is designed to enhance the ease of conducting international business in line with the renewed hoped agenda of his administration to diversify the economy to non-oil sector.
This infrastructure is integral to our administration's commitment to promoting export business across Nigeria, thereby achieving trade balance and creating employment opportunities for our youth.
The facility, equipped with state-of-the-art infrastructure and technology, has the capacity to handle large volumes of cargo and is expected to alleviate the burden of shippers and make trade more efficient.
The Funtua Inland Dry Port will no doubt further unlock the economic potentials of Nigeria and facilitate trade with the landlocked countries like Niger and Chad Republic.
This crucial infrastructure is vital for seamless transportation, reducing costs and facilitating efficient movement of goods.
And it kept pushing and pushing, and here we are today, commissioning this great facility for the use of Nigerians.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Shippers Council added that the inland dry port is a shining example of what can be achieved when government, private sector, and stakeholders work together towards a common goal and assured continued monitoring of its progress and impact on the economy. Awal Halaru, NTA News.
The National Agency for Science, Engineering, Infrastructure, NASENI, is making efforts to satisfy the yearnings of patriotic Nigerians who have always wanted to see indigenous national products and brands in the market by ensuring that its branded products are now available in the markets. This follows the unveiling of some new solar-powered and mobile products by the agency's Chief Executive Officer, Khalil Suleiman Halilu. Tope Alabi reports.
The products included Naseni laptop, Naseni Android smartphone, Naseni lithium battery and Naseni 300 watts LED solar street lamp. Naseni boss Khalil Suleiman Halilu, who briefed the media on the agency's activities and achievements, disclosed that some of the products are already in the market and others have been pre-booked for the rest of the year. The agency had earlier in the year unveiled its solar irrigation system, electric keke, electric motorcycle and solar-powered cargo tricycle during the oversight visit by the Senate Committee on Naseni.
So in terms of area of focus, we have agriculture and food manufacturing, defense and aerospace, sustainable transportation and mobility, renewable energy, health and biotech, IT and software, construction as well as smart city.
Meanwhile, Naseni has adopted a fast-track approach in technology transfer and commercialization of its research and development products, as these efforts are aimed at creating jobs, wealth and reducing import bills for the nation.
What we want to do is maximize our resources. Where we identify a partner that already has something going on, we don't need to build it from scratch. We come in and leverage on the existing infrastructure to be able to scale faster. As we speak, we have engineers in Indonesia doing training on coal fertilizer. We've done tests with various institutions in Nigeria. It has proven to be very, very promising. And soon they will be coming back. And we have 2 factories under construction for this coal fertilizer.
While telling investors to work with and support industrialization efforts of the country, and with the principles of creation, collaboration and commercialization across public and private sectors, strategic partners are hopeful that the agencies makes the products sustainable and readily accessible to end users. In Abuja, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Now, 24 years already in the can, and with its impact spreading across the world and reaching billions of people. Rhapsody of Realities, a magazine bulletin of the Christ Embassy Church, is now creating new targets, hoping to continue to grow with incredible figures for more years to come. To further maximize the blessings of the popular daily devotional, President Love World Incorporated, Pastor Chris Oyakilome will be exposing faithful worldwide to the healing and miracle-working power contained in the book of Revelation 2024. Joy Popoala attended the World Press Conference to herald the program and now reports.
Rhapsody of Realities, a daily devotional authored by President Love World Incorporated, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, is divinely mandated by God to go around the world to liberate people from oppression in order to expose them to the knowledge of Christ. Pastor Lanre Alabi, Director Church Growth, who briefed journalists on the forthcoming Rapathon scheduled for May 15th to 18th, 2024, explained that Rhapsody of Realities, which has been translated to over 8,000 languages, more than 4,000 dialects, and 2,000 Braille languages for visually impaired people, is an essential diet for spiritual growth.
This is what many need, and many have been using it, but we want even more people to use it. So through this Rapathon, many more will get to know about Rhapsody of Realities. Many more will know how to use it, and then many more will use it to win souls.
Director of Corporate Affairs, Ifeoma Chiemeka, and member of the Central Executive Council, Love World Incorporated, Pastor Tuoyo Temison, described Pastor Chris Oyakilome as a man that God has used to perform extraordinary miracles in the lives of billions of people. The Rapathon, which we hold for 4 days, is an opportunity to listen to unquantifiable testimonies and learn from the teacher of God's word.
We thought there were only 8,123 languages. But while we were out there translating, we're able to find an additional 700 languages that the world didn't know about. We have been able to bring life to so many who were lost.
Rhapsody will never ever stop. There will be a new edition every month, and you will never have a repeat. That's one of the reasons why we say it's a Rhapsody of God and it's a divine mandate.
To be part of this awesome experience, log on to www.reachoutworld.org to register and follow the process. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
And with that, that's NTA Network News for today. But before we go, we sincerely apologize for not bringing the business segment of the news tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Jummai Yusuf.